Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. Nice try, announcer lady trying to overwrite me. And in this one, we have Xin Zhao once more because he is entering the Kazakhs territory of, well, just eternally good no matter what. 5 camp? Fine. 6 camp? Fine. Red side? Blue side? 4 camp? Any kind of camp? He can do it all. And that, change at the beginning of the year really made him just exquisite for whatever you might need. And yeah, he doesn't have that same sex appeal as some other junglers. But, when your W goes from this, to this, I'd argue otherwise. And, of course, we are against a Thresh. Now, they don't know that he's DC'd. We know. They don't know. So they all stack there for a counter invade. What I love about his jungling in Season 12 is, even though Drinker, Conqueror, and so on were nerfed, that's odd behavior. I think we're getting a late invade. He still was fine. You can go Clips, you can go Hail of Blades. And obviously now you can go Lethal Tempo, but the rebuffs of Drinker, the rebuffs of Conqueror just kind of stabilized him a little bit. So any sort of weakness that was creeping in, we safely eradicated that. Now, we have here a Jinx brand bottom line. We're starting on the red buff. We saw the Vayne creep down on the ward there, and we see the timeline showing us potentially some kind of cheese. So let's assume this happens, because this happens to all your bottom lanes. I don't know why they would face check that, just walk the long way and be safe. It's very, very simple. But as a jungler, look at this. They helped you least. They're trapped in a position. You can very easily get a whole bunch of, gold, cash monies, everything you want. Look at this. You seeing this? And now Silas rotates. Oh, look, so generous. He gave Saggy a little bit of that juice. Look, I know your bottom lanes do this, and too often, in a plat coaching, in any sort of diamond coaching especially, there's this conflict of, well, if we know they started topside or if they started Leisha's topside, and I show they're just going to take my stuff, well, you know what? Is that really worth you letting your bot lane completely die while their bot lane pushes get too prior, now your bot gets giga zoned, their jungler might not even counter jungle you, might just, go down and dive them, and now the game's over at 15. That's doomsday. Might as well just rotate, get some cleanup. It's absolutely well done. At this stage, I think flexing into the Raptors and then going to check your blue immediately would have been a good choice, but it is a Diana, so you have to basically decide how well you match up. For me, some of my pool just doesn't match up very well. Xin Zhao should match up fine into almost anyone. Diana instead, though, let's just rewind that, shows up on the red side, and you see the ping. This is a ping from our jungle saying, look, she probably took it, you gotta watch for the dive. And the fact that we have a ranged top laner being abused by an Aurelia, well, Aurelia's range too, so it's just range versus range. That's excellently done by the Diana. Now, our jungler is going to say, oh, hold up a second, I'm level 2, doesn't really matter, because at least I can gap close. Now, we don't have Q, obviously, but at this point, do we need it? Lethal Tempo, stack it, stack it, stack it, and die. Well done. I mean, Diana has flash, she just kind of stood there and took it, which is why, in this kind of game where we... Did you guys see what happened? You see that? He went from 2 to 4. Very, very smooth. And now we can go take the topside crab. So it works out in the end, but it might not have. And that's the difference between your challenger junglers and your master tier junglers. Diana in challenger might have played it a little bit differently, and our jungler here actually played it very, very, very well. Almost said a weird word. But yeah, that's exactly what you want to do when things don't go well and according to what your game plan was, because I doubt he was expecting this. But your heart's racing now in these games. I love them because people bite off more than they can chew. Oh, mid lane dancing. They bite off more than they can chew. Ooh. Oh, come on, Brand. Come on, Brand. There's a Thresh. You see, I'm not saying necessarily 100% go for it, but it's something I'm thinking about it. Obviously, if the Thresh is base and so on, you don't want to, but Zyra, sometimes if we have prior or whatnot and ADC needs to base and I'm 3, I'll rotate there, but that was obviously a better decision by the brand. Thresh rotates anyway. Our jungler goes back to, whoa, what? Anyway, so our jungler went back to base. We do have Iron Spike Whip ready to churn some cream. And we saw Diana on a ward. Oh, hello, Diana. Who expects you to be here? Who wins this now? And now she uses a flash. Very good. Condemned into the wall. Vayne is good champion. Thresh is also good champion. Silas is TP'd in and gets the cleanup kill onto the Thresh. Solo kill, essentially, but that's just an overstay of the preview. Wow. So, weird rotations by red team. Hyper aggressive. A little bit out of position. And honestly, the blue team are just taking it. That's this is a great example of what happens if the enemy team tries to be hyper-aggressive to you, but it's actually not a good decision. Now, in a low elo game, the reason why these hyper-aggressive decisions can work, this variance coin flip, is because everyone just gets shocked. They're blinking 1,000 times a minute, and you know, they actually don't even hit their mechanical buttons. They won't even use spells sometimes. You know, they'll just try and run away most of the time. And actually, in the video I just released on the main channel, this happens every time. There was a Hackerman that invaded me as Kai'Sa jungle without smite, so I got the red anyway, and then he ghosted away. Now, he could have just killed me, but he ghosted away. He just was so surprised with the fact that I showed up that off he goes. It's the same thing in this elo, except now you see the Silas is reacting accordingly by getting stuff from the jungler for free and then inting it in his lane. Our top laner is going to int the enemy jungler, and our protagonist here, Xin Zhao, is just going to say, well, I guess it's my time to 1v9, and honestly, isn't that what you guys want? Look at this, great, excellent, don't go to the grump here. You know, if the top lane's going to get fisted, if mid lane's getting literally fisted, just pick one, clean it up. This is omega nice. I would not be as so kind in this situation. I'm sorry, Saggy. You've gotten some free stuff. It's only okay because he wants to go back to base, but I don't like that I'm losing a little bit of tempo control. The fortunate thing is, because everyone kind of did Fiesta things, we already have the dragon, we're waiting for the Krugs, we're waiting for the red, we're waiting for the Raptors. There's no real pressure, right? You can very easily hold this, do nice things for your mid laner, try and get him back into the game, and maybe this is all he needs. Maybe he just needs to feel loved. There's so much I could dive into with that statement, especially to the L9 Toxin players. But, you know, if you have time in this case to reset, to go back and get yourself a Faji, and then the Phage, and then go back to your Krugs, Red Raptors, that's absolutely fine. Now, oh, he turns it around. 200 years of design versus 200 years of rework design. Well, you know, he's actually just destroying her. And then the damage shots in the endgame, the Akshan does a lot. He doesn't have the highest KP, but he obviously does a lot of damage. Thresh now, knowing that, this I like, this is good. You know, when you know the enemy bottom lane has reset and gone, and your ADC is maybe a bit behind, or just wants some solo farm experience, you can go with your jungler to gank mid lane, which is absolutely perfect. And now they've gone down here, so this is something I would be very suspicious of, and I think this bottom lane is being highly disrespectful. You have this control ward now. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to get dove in those situations, so I'll put it here, and then hopefully put like a, you know, in my case a plant, but just at least a vision ward, knowing that Thresh showed up with Dinah and then went down. It's very possible that you're looking at this kind of, you know, diseased gank here, and now they're even going to push up with no concerns in the world, while our jungler has said, oh, here we go, oh no, who could have foreseen such an, wow, that was a good hook though, who could have foreseen such an unbelievable play? Brand. Everyone loves Brand. So in this situation, our jungler decided, you know what, I can maybe see this happening, but doing my red side sequencing up is more important because I want to control top lane, or at least feast on Irelia's bones. We have the Herald up, and we have the red side up. So in this situation, I think it would have been a very good idea to honestly just flex into stealing the red side. Honestly, this is a bit too conservative now. You know, like the whole team's just been running at you the whole game. I don't like that we've just gone to take something we can always fall back to, especially seeing as you completely outstack and demoralize and destroy Diana. Now, the other side of the coin is, if we're watching him, take this, wait for her to reset sequence upside, and now you can actually invade and kill, but now you don't have mid prior, so you're forced into the Herald. At this stage, if I'm the Diana, I'm going to try and use my mid lane prior to force something here if we can maybe get away with it. But let's see what happens. Yasubi has disappeared from mid lane, so he wards to protect himself, obviously. And in this case, the Diana, it looks like we can see what's going on. The Xin Zhao cannot see what's going on, but she is just doing this. Yeah, this is just slow. This is just slow from everyone. I feel like this whole sequence is something that I'm not used to seeing very often, because we do cover very heavily Grandmaster and Challenger gameplays, and obviously most of my scouting is in that arena to sort of take complicated principles, translate them down, put them in my gameplay, give them to you as information. What happened to the Akshan? Who knows? Yeah, this is for me missed. I think we could have taken all of this and then fallen back to that, or taken this immediately if it was 8 minutes. If it isn't, obviously you can't. And then either, you know, do this kind of stuff. As soon as Yasuo goes back to mid lane, just kill him with Silas. Or kill the Irelia and use it. And then you can fall back to your blue side afterwards. But if you do take the red side and then fall to the Herald, as I said, it's easy. Probably the Dyna knows you're going to be doing the Herald and collapses on it, so it's just prioritization of what you want from the game. There's nothing wrong with what he did. It's basically saying, I'll give her camps an extension, take all the Vine, take the Herald, gank another lane, gank mid lane again, and now I get to use a Herald. So the win is still good, yeah? It's just that we could further that lead a little bit more. Goes straight to the bottom lane. I love this again. This is absolutely huge. Diana showing herself to be a strong champion, and yet still dies. I guess that's basically... I like the side dodge of the Thresh Hook. You think you can sidestep a Thresh Hook? Hitboxes like that. Absolute Chad champion. Lovely to face as a jungler when you want to gank. Lovely to have on your team though. Beautiful lane ganks. So now we're just going to shove this out. We're going to activate this and try and basically yeet this tower into the next dimension because of the graphical anomaly that seemingly does that anyway. Now Jinx is confused. There we go. See, down it goes. Now Jinx is confused. She's probably going to try and take the Krugs because she's not going to have a choice. The Vayne could honestly just absolutely relax for a little bit and she's going to have nothing to do. And the thing is, the Jinx could just come and help us do this. If Vayne pushes up a little bit more, we can take her out. Otherwise, who cares? I do think what was good was control his jungle, take this, gank a lane that's gankable, rotate to the next lane that's gankable, rotate to this lane. It's the same thing as we put out in the ganking video where having good pathing like that is so supreme. It can really break open a game, regardless of whether or not you're playing perfectly or if the enemy is playing well or not. It doesn't matter. You see a gank into a counter jungle gank, into another dive gank, you know, into a reset, you've just demoralized and taken over the entire map, and that's absolutely huge. Now, on the thumbnail, you would have noticed we do have Gore Drinker, we do have Lethal Tempo, we do have a Frozen Heart, and that's because they have what we like to call a shit ton of attack speed. Every single one of those champions loves attack speed. And honestly, if Diana decides to go the Nash's Tooth build, and even if she doesn't, the Frozen Heart is going to be beautiful for every single matchup, every single fisting fight that you take. Dynamic itemization is very important. Go your core item, and now most people think, but Sterax, we must get Lifeline Shield because, I don't know. That's why people end up failing in a lot of situations, you know? I like the fact that we've gone Frozen Heart early, because you have a huge lead. Their attack speed isn't really that giga, but whatever it is, if you diminish it even a micro fraction versus you in a 1v1 while you have Lethal Tempo, it's poetic, the amount of control you're going to have over them. And honestly, given their champion pool, I think we can all agree that this whole team does not deserve to win. I don't want to see any of these champions win. The only one is Diana, obviously, because I do kind of like Diana, but, you know, I'm kind of a little bit getting itchy now thinking about when she was too strong. And all we saw was her farming. And then comboing with Yasuo, so it was very exciting. Now, Vayne, instead of being chilling somewhere, decides to push wave and now recognizes, hold up, no, she didn't recognize it whatsoever. Nice angle of approach by the Silas, level 12 jungler, gets condemned away. Nothing will save you, dear. And now our mid lane, our bot lane is our mid lane, so this is good as well. Okay, Diana shows up, Jinx gets caught out, doesn't matter what she, whoa, hold up. She lives, and boom! I was gonna say something relating to Arcane, but I shall not. Yet if you've seen it all, then you know what I was about to reference. I hope. Take this ward. We do have a chem tech soul meta, chem tech soul. If you want to say chem tank, it's very unfortunate that item has really just created a disconnect in one's mind when it comes to saying chem, because it's everywhere. Although in Arcane, just from an artistic direction, I did like that some of those soldiers of Zon had the Turbo Chem Tank helmet. Like, it's literally just that helmet, right? So that has a connection to the lore now, which is kind of interesting. That's not a spoiler, that's just art direction, but yeah, I like that. So this is good as well. Now the pressure here is falling off just a little bit, we do have, what do we have in the pocket? 2K. We're gonna go and finish these Krugs. We have a short while under a minute until that Herald and RNG Crab spawn. We know that the Red would have spawned if we were tracking that timer as well. We see Yasuo on the bottom side. So I do think if we have enough itemization, see how much he runs out of base with. If you have enough gold to buy all of this without doing Krugs, don't do Krugs. Very important that you track that, because yeah, we do want 11, right? But you could very easily already be on this whole blue side plus the crab. Finish it all by the time, you know, Akshan's going for this invade. You could be here making this invade. So for me, the big difference between your sort of Korean challenger plays and lesser elos, not in an insulting way, just a bit below, is that play would have been made. And now you're losing your crab. You see, so a lot of low elo jungles say, well, my ADC takes my camps. Well, in the scenario I just described, do you think Jinx is walking down to your Krugs? Maybe, but hopefully she isn't, but she's not getting the crab. You have enough gold to get everything you need, because obviously we're going to go into Sterex next, and then you can, of course, take everything. And now you're lagging behind your team a little bit. You're lagging behind your team, there's no question. And yeah, they're able to do a lot of damage because you have made this map huge. This is your game. You know, this is the Xin Zhao's game. He has made everything that's happened in this on the map. And so you can afford to do this and deny this bounty, but you're going to probably lose this bounty. So for me, you know, I'd rather skip the Krugs, get all of this, maybe get this. I'm not going to be lagging behind my team too much. And now I can head on down and assist in these fights, because I want to be present in these fights. But this is still good. Just play by ear, based upon how good your team is and who's fed. Because Irelia is still strong, right? She's gonna die, but she's still strong. Does this give us stats? Yeah. Rock solid. Nah, Malphite's passive. Damage blocked 455. It's pretty decent considering you just got it completed. So obviously a bit more health will help us a lot, because that's a change recently that really makes the item a bit more attractive. So now, you know, bounty on the Drake, we're behind a little bit. Do they even get it? They're on it, right? Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? The fact that we went for Krugs has caused a cascade of being slightly behind the map in terms of what's available. And even though you can stat check and destroy everyone, you're trying not to coin flip these scenarios, you know? So he's fine, absolutely fine. I thought he was gonna be fine, I honestly did. Anyway, he died. He's fine, he was fine until he wasn't. If you skip these, you can see, hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. You know, there's just that 15, 20 second boost that puts you in different places a little sooner, and you can make plays with little less variance, and that's great. But obviously now you get the benefit of having level 11 Krug Camp, but who cares, because you haven't been here in a while. And now Jinx is doing this. Diana's dead. If Diana's alive, I've seen this, by the way. The Diana's alive. He thinks his ADC's got it, so he does Krugs, and she just yeets it and dies and takes it. I don't like those coin flips because, again, bounties. Bounties. You have to be very, very disciplined when you're closing out games. But this is basically a free game, and I just wanted to show you this one. Because the champion can do so much damage, has so much CC, has such a big gap close, has a game-changing ultimate, and can outstat check anyone when he is this fed, it really is a nice... Oof, he needed to hit that, but I think he'll be okay. Think he will be fine. Absolutely juicy. And of course, throwing dynamic atomization into there as well on a champion like this. I know it isn't the most exciting. It's not the Silas jungle. It's not the Taric jungle. You know, it's not Pantheon jungle or Kaisa Zyra jungle that I'm running at the moment. But it will get you wins. And if you can reconcile a lot of just where you need to be, like focus on good ganking technique, focus on good pathing, focus on that dynamic atomization, focus on Drake control, all these rotations we're talking about, and understanding that with lethal tempo you can stat check anyone. It's just going to be a great champion to have in your pool for the start of Season 12. That's why I wanted to talk about this, and that's why he's just permanently OP, OP at the moment. However, I have seen bigger throws, have we not? All of us have seen bigger throws recently than an 8 or so, 9k gold lead, especially when it comes to these. So we've definitely, in this situation, taken our foot off the pedal a little bit. We're not in their jungle as much as I would probably like. We're not rotating to these fights as much as I probably would like. Now we're going for it as our Silas is on the Raptor camp. Let's see how it goes. Doesn't really matter because, whoa, that damage. You see what I'm saying? And the Frozen Heart, we'll see the damage blocked in a second. We have Sterex Gauge activated as well. Beautiful. You know, look at this. 3 items, 1000 damage blocked. You just sit in front of the Jinx. You sit and disrupt with your ultimate. 16, 1, and 7. The Akshan hasn't really been playing with him whatsoever, but he's done a solid job. Now imagine a scenario where you did not react level 3 and didn't clean up these kills and Irelia just got free time, free real estate and no issue. The Akshan's lane might go differently, and especially that he showed up again later. So he did impact top lane, got him fed. He impacted mid lane, helped him, got him fed. Got him fed. Whatever tense you choose, he got him fed. And then bottom lane kind of shadowed and obviously got the place for himself, but it was more than enough to allow that impact to translate into dragons and heralds, and he prevented the Diana from basically ever getting going. I mean, she's 7-7 too, but we can agree it's of her own doing that she's also not as fed. She went for the hyper-aggressive invade. I don't think you necessarily need to do that if bottom lane cheeses. 100% though. If the Xin Zhao, here we go again. If the Xin Zhao, you know, doesn't rotate on that level 1 and goes up, Dyna's diving that. You know, Dyna's gonna spam gank bottom lane and the Vayne will get Giga fed. And as we all know, Vayne is very, very strong. So it was well done. And the whole game plan rests on his rotation there. The Thresh's hooks are slightly concerning to me. Irelia is trying to dive into a Brand, and Brand is just showing her the power of this champion and why so many people hate playing against it. And now she's disappeared. Okay. Alpha move by the Jinx. Thank you very much. She's done a good job on the back line. I think so. And we should be able to close here. So let me know what you think about your champion pool going into the season. I definitely think most of you, or not all of you, should be able to play this if you like an aggressive jungler, but don't really want to learn the Rek'Sai. You know, Rek'Sai is definitely more difficult to pull off. Xin Zhao has a bit more versatility in that sense. But as you saw from the Rek'Sai gameplay, if you can nail pathing, full clear or otherwise, and just understand how to keep this pressure up, usually she's just the best for that. He's obviously equally as good in a lot of regards. It's just a little simpler to execute. And if you want to do level 2 nonsense, you can, so. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm watching in this game. When it's these new champions dashing 1,000 directions and you're just a mage sitting in the background. That's what Brand is really good into them, because it's so easy to hit the stun and you just watch the burn in the most literal sense. And then you just make sure you buy that prestige emote on Brand when you do it. And Mastery 4 emote flex. That's the best way to do it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you were able to enjoy and learn something that was almost separate words, but came out as a bit of a noise. I am fatigued now. Main video on the main channel just went up as well. And I'll try to get out 2 of these, but at least Christmas Eve, so we can be entertained as we head into the holiday period. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.